Well, darn. Last week we were all pumped about the signs of spring in the air, and now we're facing a week of single-digit temperatures and more snow. I hope you're staying warm wherever you are. This is Annie Rind, and you're tuned into the 1001 Business Problems Solved with Microsoft Teams podcast, where we give you an actionable solution in 6 minutes time each Monday. Today is part 2 of our Work Habits Audit series. If you happened to miss last week, here's a recap. First, ensure your employees understand the upcoming work habit audits are meant to help them improve and are not intended to be a criticism of their work. Secondly, you want your best computing employee to do the audits. Your goal should be to get all computing employees up near the proficiency level of your best employee. And thirdly, you want to review personal work habits on the computer as well as workgroup computing habits. In other words, the way the workgroup interacts using their computers. So, let's get right into how to conduct the audits. We've found that audits are good if they're 1 to 2 hours long, although 4 hours isn't unreasonable. The auditing employee should simply watch from over the employee's shoulder, or even project the computer screen, whether in person on the wall or via remote Teams meeting. It's also good if the audit can happen first thing in the morning because that's when employees usually go through their overnight communications and handle their most pressing issues. The audited employee should 1. Conduct their standard morning startup routine. 2. Perform their standard tasks on frequently used platforms and apps. And then, when those have been sufficiently demonstrated, the employee should give the auditing employee a tour of their email inbox. Now, hopefully your organization is using only Teams chat and channel posts for internal messaging, but many of you are not to that level of maturity yet. And even if you are mature in your usage of Teams, there are still likely many emails in that inbox from external people. The auditing employee should look for repetitive emails, such as reports and other recurring communication needs. These should be noted because they are indicators of communications that could be tremendously improved using SharePoint lists and Teams channel posts. Additionally, the auditing employee should 1. Look for clutter reduction opportunities. Important messages are often lost in the clutter of unimportant emails. The employee may need to be coached on how to redirect emails from less important sources to the other tab in Outlook or sent to other folders by Outlook rule or quick steps. If your auditing employee isn't familiar with these functions, have them learn them. 2. Look for nuisance notifications. Notifications notoriously interrupt workflow, so make sure the only notifications bugging the employee are those that require immediate attention. 3. Look for email actions the employee does repeatedly. Recommend faster, easier ways to perform the functions. If it's repetitive and time-consuming enough and the auditor doesn't know a good alternative, be sure to ask Copilot for better ways. Don't forget that you have a Microsoft expert at your fingertips with Copilot. 4. Recommend the employee only check email 2 to 3 times per day unless that employee is involved in customer support or any other position that requires constant email attention. Between notifications and constantly checking email, it's a wonder employees can get any work done, such as the damage email management can cause. Take it from me, if you don't do anything else productive during your audit, do this one. McKinsey found that employees spend 28% of every day doing email, and if that 28% is spread across the entire day, their other work is likely suffering. Make sure your employees are chunking their email time. You'll see instant improvement in productivity and employee morale. As you can see, email review is a great way to find both individual and workgroup computing improvement opportunities. Here are a few more rapid-fire things to look for that are not necessarily related to email. Task management. How are individual and workgroup tasks managed? Maybe the employee would be better off scheduling important tasks on his or her Outlook calendar rather than in their long list of Outlook tasks. Are workgroup tasks managed by email? Those should be in Planner where workgroup tasks are more easily managed and tracked. What about repetitive hand and mouse movements? I realize using a keyboard shortcut rather than moving a hand from keyboard to mouse and back is only a tiny improvement, but if it's an action the employee does hundreds of times a day or each week, the savings will rapidly compound into huge improvements. Pay attention to the employee's navigation to files and information. If there are a lot of clicks involved, such as drilling down through deeply nested folders or to multiple SharePoint sites or such, There are countless ways to reduce those clicks by customizing channels, tabs, and library metadata to eliminate all those clicks. There are so many efficiencies built into Teams that can reduce navigation to a single click. Be sure to emphasize the powerful Teams search engine if the employee isn't yet using it. Even if an employee knows right where something is located, doing a Teams keyword search is likely much faster than tons of navigational clicking. Now, I realize I just threw a lot of new thoughts your way, and you may have to replay this episode a few times, but I think you'll agree that it's worth it. Additionally, we try not to peddle our services on this podcast too much because this is intended to be a self-help podcast. But I want to make sure you conduct a work habit audit if this series has inspired you. If you don't have a Teams and Microsoft 365 guru on your staff, we offer 1 hour of auditing service for free with no obligation and no pressure. Just go to countyquest.com and you'll see the bright red button at the top of the page. Just let us know it's for a work habit audit so we can be prepared to help you as much as we can during that hour. After that 1 hour, you'll have several improvement ideas to implement on your own, even if you don't want additional auditing or improvement consultation. And with that, I need to wrap up today's episode. I hope you have a happy and productive week this week. This is Annie, signing off.